Hi, today's topic is one of the most important topics that all successful people discuss about. It's about productivity. Imagine there are those days where you really want to finish that one extra task and you're not able to fit it in the day because the day doesn't feel long enough. You probably want more than 24 hours, right? But it just doesn't seem to be fitting in there, right? So what do you do during these kind of days? And I'm sure I want to ask you this question that more often than not, probably you're feeling this way. So how do successful people handle this? Okay? Productivity is a very, very big topic and an important topic. Do you all agree when I say that somehow some people get through this very beautifully than others? Every one of us has 24 hours in a day, but there seem to be some people who are doing better with the planning of the 24 hours a day and have larger or higher productivity when compared to others. If you are one amongst them, please just type in the comment box saying me. And instead of sort of getting frustrated with those unfinished kind of tasks that you've not done the previous day, let's look at 4 hacks, productivity hacks that I'm going to be sharing with you, which will increase your productivity twofold. So let me jump into the first hack. Okay? Start with an intention. I would really follow this, and from the time I have started following this, it makes a lot of difference to me. Starting with the right kind of intention can in fact make your whole day more purposeful and meaningful. Okay, because it sets in those positive energies or positive feelings that you want throughout the day. Okay, so how do you do it? The first and the foremost important thing, and I think this is something that really I believe in, is waking up early. While I was never like that when growing up years, if you want to be successful, one of the things definitely is to wake up early. So when you wake up early, I see that, especially for me, things fall in place exactly the way that you want. So you get up and you have a very positive intention by either you want to beat the traffic and by starting off early, or you do meditation, or you do yoga, or whatever it is, or those activities that you want to put in place so that it becomes a positive sort of a step towards the remaining part of the day. Second is set your priorities right. In the previous point, there are also things like journaling that you can include. Right, so in the second point as to how do you start with intention is about setting your priorities right. So what do you mean by that? These are things which are linked to almost as important as what needs to be done in a day. What tasks you should delay or where the potential distractions lie is something that is very, very important, which means that you're actually intentional about the feelings that you want to generate throughout the day. So you know what you need to do, but you also need to slot as to which are those that distract you and which are those that take longer time, which is difficult. And generally the first half of the day is considered more productive and where you're having you fresher, you have more energy. So those are the times when you need to slot it for the difficult tasks and also sort of demarcate the ones that distracts you, right? Once you know what you need to do, prioritize your list and tackle the most difficult items early on. Say it is that you have to call someone or you need to clear certain things out, finish those difficult ones right away in the beginning of the day. Envision what a successful day looks like at the end of it and try to sort it out accordingly. Keep your list visible and check off, and this I really love, check off the items that you've already done, right? The third thing in start with intention is plan your time. So what do I mean by planning your time is when you start your day, keep those meetings that are there in your calendar that you know as you start your day. Apart from that, block a productivity band. And see, that is the time probably it's like, these are tasks which are really important but are not urgent, right? I'm sure you must have heard of this statement. During that time, we need to keep away from emails, from phone calls, from your WhatsApp, from whatever digital distractions that are available. So the second hack is increase focus. So if you are spread too thin in the day, you feel scattered, or if there are sort of a feeling of overwhelm, you might then we need to do 3 things to increase focus. So what is the first thing is declutter your workspace. Decluttering of your workspace is at a mental level, at a physical level, and nowadays at a digital level. Okay, so physically you need to be having those materials ready, whether it is pen, paper, that is something you need to be able to access. So you need to clear your work table. Mentally, or your thinking process also improves if you do that. That's digitally. There are so many mails nowadays, use certain apps. My digital mentor actually talks about unroll.me. Use that app to clear your digital workspace. This really helps to improve your thinking process. The second one is limit your commitments. So having too many meetings spread out in a day is going to clutter your thinking process. So what do we need to do is to probably have maximum 2 or 3 commitments, and which also means the ability for you to be able to say no, not now, later. For those projects which are on priority, do that first, and the ones that you can do after a week or after 2-3 days, you need to be able to do that. The third thing is use 80-20 principles, with the Pareto principle, right, which says that 80% of your problems can be sorted by 20% of actions. Or if you actually find out what are those top 20% that you need to focus on, you provide all your attention to that, it will actually 80% of your problems will get sorted through that. The third hack is set a pace. An unstructured day or a disorganized day can just get away from you, and by the time you know it, the week is gone and you feel that you've not achieved anything. So how do you set a pace? First thing is to set those project deadlines, especially if you're working on your own. You have these in an employee or an office kind of a setup where you have project deadlines, but you need to have these project deadlines set up for yourself when you're working on your own, especially so that you don't lose track and have that end time and work backwards. Second thing is to take a break. It's very important that when you feel overwhelmed, get out of your workspace, take a break, grab a healthy snack or walk or whatever it is, but do an activity that is away from what you're actually doing. The third thing is schedule a hard stop to your day. So the schedule for your day might depend upon the kind of the task the ends of your day. It may depend upon the kind of schedule that you've set for yourself, but make it a point. You can have a sort of an alarm set up, so 15 to 30 minutes before you end your day, and accordingly at that point of time make your mind sort of directional towards that, and you should really walk away from the workspace. Make it like intentional that you walk away from your workspace. A firm stop time creates a sense of urgency and helps you stay focused on your must-do tasks, because if you're going, probably you just continue doing that, wanting to complete it, the effectiveness also reduces. The fourth hack is to adopt a productivity lifestyle. What do you mean by that is your personal habits, which actually flows into your workspace. So it's very important to sort of have a time allocated for self-care. So how do you do that is by 3-4 things that I'm going to be telling you. The first thing is set aside time for personal development. Some time, either in the morning or the evening, half an hour, you need to spend in sort of developing yourself, either by listening to leadership talks or TED talks or podcasts, or read a book or whatever, but that needs to be dedicated for your own personal development. The second thing is you fuel your mind and body. Have that nutritious food, to have the energy going. It becomes very, very difficult if you're exhausted and your productivity really goes down. So have nutritious food, exercise, meditate to keep your mind balanced so that the productivity can increase. The third thing is embrace collaboration. This is a very important thing. In case you feel very overwhelmed, not able to do some kind of or not able to crack a particular solution, to have that group, a buddy or a group of people whom you can talk to, who might actually help you by giving you those ideas, really helps you to get going with the task that you might have got stuck with. The fourth one is celebrate your wins. We get so focused with doing what we need to do and we forget about the accomplishments that we have made. the end of the day or end of the week or whatever it is, but have time where you actually think about what are the accomplishments that you have achieved at the end of the day. It's great. One of the ways of doing it before you sleep is to just make a list of all the things that you feel you've accomplished for the day. Feel good about it, and then take the ones that have gaps or the ones that it gets carried forward for the next day for you to take it on. And above all, what's most important is consistency. 24 hours a day, every single day we need to be doing everything that I've been talking about. If you like this video, please don't forget to like it and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please put up those comments there to make this entire thing more interactive. Please do attend my workshop on Discover the Superwoman in You and take up one-to-one coaching. I have transformed people's lives, whether from Cognizant, Dell, doctors, architects, housewives, and it's a 12-session process that you can get in touch with me for more details. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.